Going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here, and today we got the brand new KS0 Pro version from Iceriver. So Iceriver did send that out here. Now I am going to do an unboxing. Usually I don't, but I am curious if this is coming with the elusive missing screw. So usually there's a screw at the bottom in my past KS0s that when I pull the miner out, there's a screw there, but underneath there's no screws missing. So I don't know if it's just an extra screw, but there's always one laying in the bottom. So I want to see if this one actually has it. Okay, so they didn't send the miner, but they sent 2 screws. I'm just kidding, everyone. It's actually right here. That was a different box that I actually put the other screws in from the other KS0s inside of them. So here is the actual KS0 Pro. It is here, it is set. So I probably can't pull this out with one hand because it's getting stuck. So give me a second here, guys. All right, so I did get it out. It was in there pretty darn good. And there is no screw at the bottom on the KS0 Pro. So if you got one of these, let me know down below if yours came with any elusive screw or not. So it looks like everything is in the bottom. It is the black fans, not the Noctuas like we did see in the very original KS0s. But you know, that just seems to be the way it is these days. So let's just put this down for a second. So I do want to announce officially, for the first time ever, Iceriver is actually granting discounts on their website for all of their ASIC miners. So code RABID2023 will actually grant you 25% off. They also have a new Malaysian factory. So if you live in North America, which is, you know, most of you guys that do watch the channel is usually from the United States and Canada, then you will get only 2 to 2.5% tariffs. Now, because this is under $800, I don't even think there's any tariffs there. It all depends on your country and stuff and so on. I don't know how the states work. And on top of that, if you're ordering, like, you know, the KS3Ms and stuff like that, it's only going to be a 2.5% tariff. So the import fees will be very, very low. Now, Iceriver is also starting to offer hosting services for 8 cents per kilowatt hour USD, and I believe the code RABID2023 does work on that as well. I don't know how it's going to work, but it is for ASIC purchases. So what they said is going on there is you can choose to get it hosted with them, and it'll be online ASAP. You don't have to wait for your miners to be shipped. Now, if you do want your miner at any time, then they will just simply ship it to you because you've already purchased it. You buy the miner, host it with them, 8 cents per kilowatt hour. The miner is yours, and you can get it anytime you want if you no longer want it hosted. So that's kind of neat as well. So let's take a look at the power supply here. And here we can see it is 120 watts. Now, there may be overclocking firmware coming very soon for these things. We'll have to wait and find out. But I would probably already start updating your power supply to maybe 160, 180 watts or something, depending on if anything does emerge. You know, that might be jumping the gun. I don't know if it'll happen, but you know, there's a good chance that it probably will. Another big question that everyone has been having since these were first announced is, are they just overclocked KS0s? And honestly, we'll look at the power and stuff, but I don't think they are, because looking at the 160 and now the latest 180 gigahash, you're upwards of 130 watts. So these are supposed to be pushing 200 gigahash at 100 watts. So if that's the case, then these are probably more likely KS1 or KS2 chips in them, and they're better than what the KS0 originally was. So we'll have to find out when we take a look at the power, but I think it is new chips that are actually in these. I'm sure Red Panda Mining is going to rip this thing apart and show us what's going on, so then that'll give us an idea exactly what is actually going on under the hood. When I do test the power, I'm going to be using one of these standard watt meters, because I do find that the Drock meters on 120 volt aren't really that accurate. They're actually showing less power than what they're actually using. I have 2 of these and they both show exactly the same. So 240 volt, the Drock meters, meter boxes, everything, they do work just fine, but I do find on 120 volt that they're just off. They're not that accurate, but then again, maybe I just got a bad Drock meter in terms of silicon. We'll have to see what happens there, but I'm gonna be using these for now on if I test anything on 120 volt. Thank you very much, Mining Potato. I'm going to be using the Ethernet cables that you already sent me. You know, he was getting mad at me complaining. I'm always buying Ethernet cables and I'm always running out of them. So he's like, what's your address? How many do you need? I'm just going to send you a box full. So here they are. He sent me a box. I got them. Thank you very much. And I'm already using them because I don't use Wi-Fi for anything. I have everything hardwired in. So I go through a lot of Ethernet cables. So if this is your first time ever checking out a KS0 or a KS Pro, the setup process is pretty simple. All you got to do is simply plug in your Ethernet cable here, go to the other side, and this is where your power cable will plug in. get your power cord plugged into your power supply itself, and then simply plug this in and this will fire right up. Okay, so I am in my router here. I'm just looking for the latest IP that popped up on my network, and I can see right here, unknown 192.168.1.105 is here, and this must be the Iceriver. So I'm just going to right click, copy that, go up top, and just simply paste that in. Once I do that, we have a login. So default username and password is admin, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is recommended to change your password once you get everything all set up here. So if we come in the mining settings, I wonder if this is the same or original. So it's going to start mining all by itself to an Iceriver address. So I actually want to find out how much Kaspa does Iceriver currently have based on this. And I don't remember. I did write down the other address somewhere, but now I can't find it. But I want to find out, you know, if this is a new address, the same address, or if they got billions of Kaspa just stocked up. So it's looking like their balance is about 372,598 Kaspa based at the current price. That's about 50,226 USD worth of Kaspa. That's a nice chunk of change. I wouldn't mind that. All right, so the first thing we got to do here is wipe all of this stuff out right here. So we're going to get rid of that, get rid of all this, get rid of all this. Goodbye. See you later, Humpool. Not using you. Get out of here. Bye, bye, and bye. So I'm going to be utilizing the Hero Miners mining pool because they are also a sponsor of today's video. So coming into here, they do have support for Bitmain KS3 and all Iceriver models. Now they don't have the correct ports right off default here. They have a little write-up they can click on, and that'll bring you to this. So here we can see they have tweak stratum difficulties for each set of miners. So if you're actually using the KS0 and probably the KS0 Pro like this one, use port 1207. If you have a KS1 or a KS2, use port 1208. If you have a KS3 or a KS3L, use port 1209. These are tweaked for these ASIC miners, and you will mine more Kaspa because of it. Or you can set a static difficulty yourself by using the parameters you can see right here based on each one. In this case, this is the 549 gigahash, so that is this number right here. I'm just going to go with the port because that's a lot easier. So I find for me that West USA is the best. Even though I'm in Western Canada, I do get a better latency right here. So you can see 1206, I do want to use 1207. I'm simply going to right click, copy that over, going into our Iceriver ASIC here, pasting that in, and I'm adjusting that to port 1207. Next, we need our wallet and worker. This is your Kaspa address that you're going to receive the rewards at, as well as a worker name that you want to name this worker. So I do just have a simple notepad labeled crypto addresses with all my crypto wallet addresses. And for this, I'm going to go with my Kaspa Tangent wallet because this is a hardware wallet. I feel it's probably the best hardware wallet out there for crypto miners because it supports most of the proof of work type of mineable coins, where a lot of wallets, they're just the main Bitcoin and a bunch of rug pull tokens. So I like Tangent here because of it, and it is always trying to add more and more coins to the list here. So now we're going to paste that in here, and I'm going to name this KS0 Pro. So here we can see we got US Kaspa at HeroMiners.com, port 1207, tweaked for the KS0 and the KS0 Pro, I'm assuming. And then we got our Kaspa address followed by our worker name of KS0 Pro. I don't think we need a password, but we'll find out what happens. From that point, simply hit save. At that, it should start loading all the parameters here. Click on home, and then we got to wait, you know, maybe about 5 minutes or something. We're starting to see some hash rate already for mining towards Iceriver's personal address. So now it's going to swap over, but we're at 190 gigahash already. Okay, so right off the get-go, I can see my miner temperatures are abnormal. Looking down at temp 1, it's down to 88. The fan was at 0 by default, so I cranked it up to 100%, and we'll see if that comes down. But I was at around 94 degrees on temp 1. Ambient temperature in this room is about 21 Celsius right now. Okay, so we are up and running. We have 201 gigahash here, 232 accepted shares. There is one thing I do want to point out, and I'm going to talk to Hero Miners about it, but do make sure you add the stratum plus TCP in your address or it will not begin mining. The shares I was actually finding earlier was still from the default hum pool. So what I did is I actually added the stratum plus TCP, just rebooted the miner. I don't think you have to. I like to reboot whenever I change a lot of settings around. And I fired up, and then we started seeing accepted hash rate here. Because if you go into Hero Miners, you can see it doesn't have the stratum and TCP. So make sure you do have that. Just a little Rabid pro tip. At the pool, our current hash rate is sitting about 229 gigahash. That just depends on shares found over the X amount of time there. We're going to wait for our 1 hour hash rate to kick in and see what it's actually looking like. At the wall, we are about 98.2 watts or so. So we are using less power than the 100 watts that we're supposed to be using, which is a good thing. Okay, so we are about an hour and 3 minutes into this. Let's take a look at the 1 hour hash rate at the pool just to see how we're doing. In the dashboard, it's saying 188 gigahash, 30 minutes, 199. This again is based on the shares that you would find. So that'd be like your current hash rate at the pool. So I'm just going to do a quick refresh here at Hero Miners. Scroll on down and we can see the 1 hour is 225.45 gigahash. So that's pretty good. The current hash rate is 220. So we're looking pretty good in terms of hash rate. We're over the 200 gigahash on the average, which is a good thing here. And at the wall, we're still sitting around that 98.3, 98.4. It went up like 0.1 watts, 0.2 watts there, but nothing huge. Usually with a lot of miners, after an hour or two, we do see the power slowly start to creep up, and that's where it usually remains in the initial fire up. So it is nice to still see a consistent power consumption happening at the wall as well. All right, so now let's kind of look at profitability of this miner, looking at the current network conditions right now. Now, Kaspa previously, it hit around pretty close to 15 cents. I'm not sure if it hit 15 or not, but it has been dipping a bit. We're sitting at 12.9 cents right now with the 5% off code Rabid 2023. Someone did order this in the States there, and it was $482 shipping right to your door. So this was the full cost of the miner. So coming into this at 220 gigahash, if this remains supreme, that is 48.78 Kaspa coins per day, or $6.31 per 24 hours. That's pretty good here, and looking like an ROI of 76.35 days. So that's not too bad. So imagine, guys, this is what things are looking like mining right now. Obviously, we're going to see network hash rates increase as time goes by, especially with the KS0s. It was the most popular miner out there, so I'm assuming the Pro version is probably going to be another popular version because it is the lowest cost entry into Kaspa mining currently, with some decent profits to be had. Still looking a lot better than a good old GPU out there, coming in at possibly the same price or cheaper depending what you're kind of buying. But looking at the future here, what if Kaspa does hit $1? That means mining right now, you hodl it, and when Kaspa does hit $1, you would be making $48.78 a day. That is an ROI of only 9.8 days, so slightly under 10 days, which means, just think about it for a minute here. If you're mining, you buy this miner, you pick it up, you turn it on for only 10 days, and you're mining 48 Kaspa coins a day, and then you just hodl it, you shut it off. You know, obviously you're not going to shut it off, but if you do after 10 days and Kaspa hits $1 in the bull run, you covered the whole miner cost right there, only mining for 10 days. So that's kind of what looking long term does look like in mining anything. You can do the same thing for GPUs, ASICs, CPUs, anything out there. Looking at potential bull runs coming up here, 2025, 2 years away. Could we see Kaspa at $1? You know, that's totally up to you. Maybe 50 cents. Obviously, if it was 50 cents, I think 50 cents is very easily achievable. That obviously just doubles everything up at $24 a day and almost 20 days of an ROI. But you can kind of see what things are looking like. We're seeing a decent profitable miner here coming in fairly cheap, and it's doing what it's supposed to do. 220 gigahash at under 100 watts. All right, guys, so I do want to share a message from Iceriver where it says, a friendly reminder here, the KS0 Pro, during our testing, we found that the surface temperature of the KS0 Pro at room temperature, 25 degrees Celsius, here you can see I am actually at 22.4, so slightly cooler than what they're dictating as 25 as the room temperature, can reach approximately 58 degrees Celsius. If you feel the surface temperature of the machine is overheating during testing, this is a normal situation. You can connect an external USB fan according to your needs, and this will quickly reduce the temperature to around 45 to 50. Because the KS0 Pro has higher hashing power, its surface temperature will be higher than the KS0. It's to be expected. That's common sense there. As the machine needs to reach this temperature to unleash the full performance of the chip. So it does sound like it should be fairly warmer here in the 60-degree range in order to hit the full potential of that ASIC chip. So let's see what my temperatures are actually looking like at a cooler ambient temperature. So I'm going to start with the heat gun, this guy right here, and we can see I am doing, if I can get the light away, about 54, 55. I'm going to various spots on it. 55, 56 we've seen there, kind of. Oh, there we go. That's a better way to view. You can kind of see the light is there as well. There's a better angle. So 55, 54, kind of scrolling up. 56, right where those portholes are, is the hottest at 56. So not too bad. We are actually under 60. Looking at the power supply here, we are about 50 to 52 degrees. So we'll see how warm that actually is. So let's just kind of touch that. It's warm, not too bad. This does have some heat on it, but again, it's not super hot. That actually, oh, over here it is pretty warm. Okay, it's hot over there. I probably just cooled it down with my hand. I'm just going to aim on there. See what we're saying here. 54, 54, 55. Okay, well, it did feel pretty warm over there, but it looks like it's about the same of what everything kind of is, unless my gun's broken. Let's break out the thermal camera and see what that's telling us. Okay, so I got the little ASIC thermal camera on there, and here we can kind of see what this is looking like. There's the power supply where the hotspots kind of are. Coming up to the miner itself, we can see where the hotspots in the middle are, so you know, it's to be expected where it is. The edges say it's not too hot, but if we pull away a little bit, kind of go to the edge, we can see where things kind of, it changes its idea what it actually thinks is hot. But looking straight at it, we can definitely tell the hot spots are right in the dead center, mostly towards where these spaces are right here. So right in there, all in this main area right here, seems to be the hottest spots of this miner. So this is what it's kind of looking like through the thermal camera. We did use the heat gun. We kind of seen this is around that 60 degrees mark, 58, 56, but you know, it's well within region, actually cooler than what Iceriver says you should run it at. So maybe I should turn the fans down a little bit. We might be able to get a little more hash. You know, it's going to take a lot more testing moving into the future. We got to do a lot of tests on this miner to see how it actually performs, but so far things are looking good. All right, guys, so there's the KS0 Pro. We checked out the thermals. We used a heat gun. We checked out the power consumption, which is still hanging out at 98.3 watts. So looking pretty good there. We're doing about average 220 gigahash. I will have future updates on this. It does sound like this may work to nice hash as well. I'll test that some other time as well, but things are looking great. Mining to hero miners. Stratums are tweaked. We're mining Kaspa. We're going to get rich. Are we getting rich? I don't know. We'll see what happens. What do you think Kaspa will get? Let me know what you guys think Kaspa could hit in the next bull run. I know it has a lot of momentum behind it. People are pumped for the price that Kaspa could hit. It hasn't seen a major bull run yet, and the 2025 bull run is going to be massive. So remember, guys, code Rabid 2023 is 5% off Iceriver products on their official site. So that's pretty awesome here. I'll see you on the next one. Rabid out.